Hey guys, welcome back. This is Kim from Ocean Vayu Yoga. This is part 2 of Introduction to Yoga or Yoga for Beginners. If you haven't watched the video number 1 yet from this series, you can click on it. I'm not sure what side of the screen it's on, but it should be in a little white rectangle on either side here. So go ahead and do that one first, and then come back and join me for this part 2 video. All right, so make sure that you have everything you're going to need. Grab a block if you have one. If not, don't worry about it. Grab your blanket to sit on, grab your pillows, and we'll get started. All right, let's get started. So I have my blanket here. I'm going to go ahead and sit on the edge of it. You can too if you would like. Find a straight spine, so bringing the crown of your head up towards the ceiling, pulling your lower belly in just a tad, creating a nice straight line from the crown of your head through your heart and down towards your hips. Resting your hands in your lap wherever they're comfortable, either on your knees or just resting right in front on your legs. I'm sitting in my easy pose, Sukhasana. We went over this in our last video, so if you didn't check that out, again, it should be a link. There should be a link in one of these corners. I have no idea which one. Okay, so remembering that one foot comes in front of the other as opposed to tucking your legs or feet underneath. Okay, so we found our comfortable seat. Hands are wherever they are best for you. You can either close your eyes or you can gaze softly down. We're going to take some full deep breaths here. Let's do 5. Remembering to expand the rib cage with each breath. Feeling the breath rise all the way up to the top of your lungs. Exhaling, releasing all the way down. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, so one more like this. And on the exhale, release your hands by your sides. So fingertips gently touching the mat. On the inhale, we're going to flip our palms up, reaching our arms all the way up overhead. Exhale, bring our hands down to our heart. So this is our moving with breath, so movement with breath. Exhale, hands come down, chin down to chest. Let's do one more. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, hands come down to your heart. Now inhale, take your arms back up. Exhale them down. We're going to just inhale the right arm up now. So right arm rises, left fingertips are going to begin to move out. We're coming into a seated side stretch. So you're going to begin to bend into your left elbow. Right arm reaches over your ear, palm faces down. So now gaze wherever is comfortable for you. If you would rather gaze down, do that. Gazing straight ahead. You can even gaze up right past your elbow. You want to begin to feel that incredible stretch that's running down your arm, down your side body to your hip. You want to be sure that you're grounding both sit bones down. So the sit bones are the bony part of your bum. You don't want to be lifting that one side up. So keep both grounded down into the earth and finding our deep breath here. So we've been here for a little bit. Let's go ahead and take one more deep breath. Exhale. Inhale, rise back up through center and over to the other side. So now we walk the right fingertips out, left arm over our ear, sinking into our elbow, anchoring both sit bones down towards the mat or towards your blanket, reaching your fingers, palm faces down, and finding your breath here. Do one more full deep breath. Exhale it out. And inhale, rise back up, reaching your fingers high up to the sky. On the exhale, we're going to drop our hands right out in front. Now, pull that belly button towards your spine. This is going to help engage your core muscles. And as we fold forward, it acts as a little counter for protecting your low back. So my fingers are tented here, which means that the fingertips are gripping the floor, and I'm just walking my fingers forward. When you get to your maximum stretch, take a deep breath here. And on the exhale, let your head relax, let your shoulders shrug forward, and come into a nice relaxed position here. Find your breath. And then we're going to slowly walk our way back up. Coming to a nice neutral spine, bringing your hands to your knees. Take a full deep breath. Exhale. And we're going to begin seated cat-cows. So in our last video, we did cat-cows on hands and knees in tabletop. So we are going to do the same exact flexion and extension. I forgot that word for a minute. Flexion and extension of our spine. So we're going to inhale, lift our heart, roll our shoulders back, let our gaze come up to the sky, lift our heart, exhale, round, chin to chest. Pull your belly button in, inhale, lifting, shoulders back, gaze is up, exhale, rounding. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what this looks like from the side. Inhale, up, exhale, down. Let's do 3 more. Inhale, and exhale. 2 more. Really trying to exaggerate the movements to get movement to happen from the back of your neck all the way down to your tailbone. Good. And then we'll come back to a nice neutral position. Take a breath here. And exhale. So from here, we're going to make our way onto our hands and knees. If you like to have the blanket underneath your knees, if your knees are troublesome, go ahead and pad underneath your knees. I'm going to move the blanket aside for a moment. For me personally, I have a really nice mat here, so I don't need to pad at the moment. So we're going to spread our fingers wide, pressing our fingertips down into the floor, remembering that our shoulders are over our wrists and our hips are over our knees with about 2 fist distance between your knees. So we'll just continue that same train of thought. We're going to come into our cat-cow here. So let the belly drop, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze, exhale, round the spine, gaze towards your navel. Inhale and exhale. Let's do 3 more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last one. Inhale and exhale. So from here, we're going to sink back into our child's pose. Sit back onto your heels, reach your fingers forward, and let your head come down to the floor. Now, if your head does not reach the floor, go ahead and grab a block or a pillow or another blanket to place underneath your head so you can sink into this deeply. We're going to take 2 more breaths. And then we're going to rise back up. Move our block or pillow out of the way. And we're going to come into puppy wag. So this is exactly as it sounds. We're going to be wagging our tail from side to side. So pull your belly button up to start. Make sure your shoulders are back over your wrists. And we're going to kick the right hip out to the side and forward up towards your shoulder. So we're decreasing the space between your right shoulder and your right hip. So right here, you'll feel that compression. On the opposite side, on the left side of your body, you're going to begin to feel that stretch. You want to look back towards your hip as you're doing so. Come back to center. Now we're going to kick the left hip out. Look back. Feel the stretch on the right side. Come back to center. Over to the right side. Look back. And then come back to center to the left side. And back to center. So these are little movements. There's nothing large and showy going on here, but there's a lot of benefit here from this compression and stretch of the side ribs. So let's go ahead and do one more to each side. Coming back to center, and then we're going to come down into our puppy pose. So if you remember from the first video, the puppy pose is a little different from child's pose. We're going to keep our hips over our knees. We're going to walk our fingers forward. Okay. Grab your blanket or your block if you need support underneath your head. Our arms are straight here. If that is uncomfortable for you, go ahead and bend them. That's okay. We want to melt the heart and lift the tailbone here. Now, if you don't need a block, it'll look a little something like this. Or with bent arms like this. So find your breath here. We're going to take one more full deep breath. And slowly exhale. Beginning to make our way back into our table position. So from here, we're going to come into our downward dog, curling both toes under, spreading the fingers, pressing down through the finger pads, and lifting the hips up towards the sky. Again, you can do your bent knee if you want to play around with straightening your legs. We straighten the right leg, then the left leg, pedaling out our heels. And then maybe you give it a shot, straightening both legs, pressing the heels down, lifting your tailbone up to the sky and pressing your belly towards your legs. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale. From here, we're going to begin to walk our feet to our hands or our hands to our feet. So whatever is easiest for you, coming into a forward fold here. Have a baby bend in your knees. You're going to grab opposite elbows with your hands. Let your head relax. My belly is resting on my legs. You can find that same action. You can have your eyes open or closed. Take another deep breath. And exhale, let your hands release down to the floor. Continue to bend deeper into your knees, rounding your spine. So shoulders are shrugging forward. And then I'm going to make my way all the way up. Head, neck, and shoulders rise last. And then sweep your arms out to the sides. And all the way up. Palms connect overhead. Exhale, relax your hands down. All right, so from here, we're going to come into mountain pose or Tadasana. So you're going to take your feet up underneath your hips. So that's really only about 4 inches apart, something like that. Okay, so feet are hip width distance apart, and we're going to find equal standing on our feet. If you happen to notice when your shoes are getting a little worn, one side is a little more worn than the other, or the front or the back is a little bit more worn, it's because of the way that we continuously unknowingly walk. So what we want to find here is that equal standing. So go ahead and first lift the toes up towards the sky, spread them, drop them back down. Okay, now play around with rocking front to back, side to side, to find that space where we're standing equally on all 4 corners of the foot. Once you have that sweet spot, we're going to ground down through the feet and lift up through the crown of our head. Okay, so hands are by our sides. You can take your palms and face them forward. This helps to run the shoulders or the shoulder blades down the back. We're going to give a little engagement in our thigh muscles. Pull the lower belly in. Shoulders are down. Palms can face forward. The chin is level or slightly down, and we're lifting up through the crown of the head. So we're getting some energy. So our energy lines are lifting up as well as grounding down. So we've got those opposing forces happening here. And then we need to find our breath. Take one more deep breath here. And exhale, release. Okay, release everything, give it a little shake. And then we're going to give it a spin. So this is a nice reset. Okay, so now let's make our way to the top of the mat. We're going to come into Warrior One pose. We bend a little into our knees, step your right leg back, drop the heel down, and then turn the toes to face the side of your mat. Front toes are facing the front of your mat. Your hips are off on a little bit of an angle, like a 45-degree angle. And then our arms are going to come up to a T position, gazing over our left middle finger. We have a nice deep bend in our front knee. And now we're going to think about our energy lines here. We're grounding down through our feet, so we have energy moving downward. We're lifting up out of the crown of our head. Energy is moving upward, and then we're reaching our fingers out in each direction. Okay, so now you want to keep an eye on this back arm. When you're not watching it, it's going to start to sink. So just keep an eye back there every once in a while. Make sure the fingers are the same height as the shoulder. Another thing to keep in mind here is your knee. So that knee, if we're not used to it, is going to want to start falling in. So keep it over your ankle. Okay. Let's take another 2 breaths. And exhale. Relax your arms down. Now you can either heel toe your feet back to the top of the mat, just going like that, or just step up, whatever works for you. Okay, so let's do the other side. Bend into the knees. Step the left leg back. Left toes point out to the side of the mat. Right toes forward. Bend into your right knee. Take your arms to your T. Press down through your feet. Lift up out of the crown of your head and reach your fingers in either direction. Take a quick look at your back arm. Make sure that it's the same height as your shoulder. Quick look down at your knee, making sure it's not falling in. If so, push it open. Gaze over your right middle finger when you're ready, and then we'll find our breath. So this pose is called Warrior One or Virabhadrasana. Another deep breath. Relax the hands down and either step or heel toe your feet to the top of the mat. Giving another little shake and then a spin from side to side. Okay, and then we are going to make our way back down to the earth. We're just going to come to seated. In our next video, we'll talk about getting down to the ground using a sun salutation to do that. Check back for when that video gets released. Sitting back down, if you want to sit on your blanket, go ahead and do that. I will grab mine. And we're going to extend our legs out in front. And we're going to come into a twist, bending the right leg, pulling the foot in so that the heel is close to your sit bone, but not super close to the inside of your leg, about a fist distance. So this pose is called Marichyasana C in Sanskrit, or just a nice seated twist. You're going to take your left arm and pull that knee in nice and tight as you spin your chest open to the side, bringing your other hand back behind you, gazing back towards your shoulder. Find your breath here. Reach out of the crown of your head to lengthen your spine. Finding one more breath. And exhaling. Release, straightening the right leg, bending the left leg. Taking the right arm, pulling that arm in towards your body as you begin to rotate your chest to the side. Taking your left hand back behind for support, gazing over your left shoulder, right toes up to the sky. Reaching up out of the crown of your head and finding your breath. And on your next exhale, go ahead and face forward and release. So you can go ahead and extend both legs. From here, we are going to go ahead and lie down on our mats. So you can take your blanket, move it aside. If you have a block, then we're going to go ahead and grab that. If you don't, then you can use your blanket or your pillow. Okay, so have whatever you're going to need near you so that when you lay down, you don't have to come back up for it. We are going to take our legs up to the sky with a little bit of help from our prop. So I'm going to use my block, but you can also use whatever you have. You can even grab a book if you need to. You're just going to lift your hips up off of the floor like we did in bridge pose in our first video. Placing the block right underneath your tailbone. You want it to be in a spot where it's comfortable and not problematic or uncomfortable. From here, we're just going to pull our knees up. Okay, so see how this feels for you. If everything is feeling okay, we're going to take our legs up towards the sky, keeping our feet together. You can have your eyes open or closed here. And finding your breath. We're going to stay here for 5 full deep breaths. This is a really relaxing pose. It's also really beneficial for our whole body, helping our hearts out. Last breath here. And then you can go ahead and pull your knees in towards your chest. Take another breath. And relax your feet down, back to the floor. Go ahead and slowly take your block out from underneath. Pull your knees in towards your chest, maybe one at a time. Rock gently, side to side. And we're going to come into our final relaxation. If you need a pillow under your head, grab that. If you need a pillow underneath your knees, grab that. Otherwise, we're going to be laying flat on the floor. Palms facing up to the sky. Feet relaxed out to the sides. Eyes are closed. Take a full breath in through your nose. Slowly exhale out your mouth. Another full deep breath in through your nose. And slowly exhale out your mouth. And then breathing returns back to normal. So no effort is needed anywhere in your entire body. Letting everything just melt away. And just being completely present in this moment. For me, I have the windows open. I can feel the breeze from outside. I can hear the birds chirping. So find what's present in your moment. If you have the time to stay in your final relaxation for longer, definitely feel free to do so. You can just let this video continue to play or press pause on your device. 7 minutes is always a good place to be. If you have longer than 7 minutes, that's awesome. Otherwise, stay for as long as you can. And if you are ready to come out, we're going to begin to bring some gentle movement to our fingers and our toes. Taking our arms up and overhead. Reaching your fingers, reaching your toes, and exhaling right there. Again, another stretch. Reaching fingers, reaching toes, and exhale right there. Begin to bring your knees in towards your chest. Rocking gently side to side. Rolling onto your right side, curling up into a little ball. And taking another couple of breaths here. On your next inhale, you can use your hands to gently push yourselves up to seated. Coming to a comfortable seated position. Letting your hands rest in your lap for a moment. Just noticing how you feel. When you're ready, bring your hands to your hearts. Closing your eyes or gazing downward. Take a full deep breath. Exhale. Namaste. Thank you all so much for joining me in this Yoga for Beginners Part 2 video. I hope that you all join me for the next one, Part 3. We'll be putting that out soon if it's not out already. And please feel free to give us a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Again, thank you. Peace and love.